Dear Lacey, I have an employee who I don't know what to do with. For the last 2 months, everything about her body language and general vibe are off. She's doing her job fine, but a lot of her interactions with me and even some of the team are weird, off, they just don't feel right. I've asked her if she's okay, but she curtly insists that she's fine. This is not how fine people act. Help, what do I do? It's so uncomfortable sometimes, and I know the whole team feels it. Signed, business owner. Okay, let's get after this one. So the first thing you need to evaluate is if this is a person that really is the right fit for your team. I asked because 2 months is a long time to be off, and when you've tried to engage in conversation with this person and they've shut you down repeatedly or haven't opened up, it's time to start looking deeper. So one of the tools that I really love to use, because it helps us get out of the emotion of if someone is a right fit for the team, because it is very emotional. We're invested. We like the people that we hire initially. We've got a relationship with them. We care about them. So this is a way that you can kind of step back, take some of the emotion out. If things feel personal, it can help take that out too, and get a good look at what's actually going on. So a tool that I really love is an EOS document that you can find in the book Traction by Gino Wickman, and it's a people analyzer and a get it, want it, and capacity to do it evaluation that you can run through to figure out if this indeed is someone that is the right person for the job. And they might have been at one point, but they might not be now. So what is it? How does it work? Well, if you would imagine across the top of the document, you're going to list your 3 to 5 core values. The 3 to 5 core values that really are what your business is all about, what you are founded on, what makes you tick, what you're all about. You should have already done this work. So your 3 to 5 core values across the top. And then you're also going to have a column for get it, want it, capacity to do it. And then you're going to write that person's name on the side. And you're going to go through these categories and evaluate where that person stands in those categories. So what does that mean? Well, for your core values, you're going to put a positive mark for every core value that the person absolutely demonstrates almost 100% of the time. You're going to put a plus minus mark for it's a core value that someone demonstrates some of the time, but not all of the time. And you're going to put a negative if it is a core value that this person is not in alignment with, is not something that they demonstrate. You're going to then take a step back after you fill that out and look to see, let's say you have 5 core values across the top. Is your person in alignment with at least have a positive or a plus minus check mark with at least 3 to 5 of those core values? Really, the bar is what you have to decide what you're going to set here and what's acceptable and what's not acceptable for you. So the bar is the minimum standard. And the suggestion would be that you have 3 plus check marks and 2 plus minus, if you have 5, be the absolute minimum standard that you're willing to accept, and no negatives. If they're not in alignment with one of the things that motivates your business and makes your business who you are at the very core, the core values, then they probably are not the right fit for your organization, which can be a hard realization to make. And also recognizing that sometimes things change. You might have been the one that changed, and they might have not have changed in their alignment, but your alignment shifted on them. That can happen as well. It's hard, but you still need to do the same evaluation and the same rules apply for where you're going. Now, the get it, want it, and the capacity to do it, the GWC, the get it. Let's say this person does meet the minimum standard or better for the core values. Now we're going to get into, do they get it? Do they understand the role? Do they understand what they've been hired to do or what the function of their job is? And also, do they understand the culture and the systems and the pace at which your organization works? If they get it, great, they get a check mark. If not, we'll talk about that in a minute. The second is the W. Do they want it? Do they really want the job? Do they want the job for the pay that you're willing to pay that job? Do they have the deep desire to really go forth and run this with this position and with the duties assigned? Do they have that fire that they want to do it? And then finally, the last is the capacity. And this one can be a little bit hard because this is where we're talking about, do they actually have the mental, physical, or emotional capacity to carry off what you've asked them to do? And if the answer is no, they don't, that can be a rough one. For example, somebody who does not have the capacity to get up to speed with the technology that you're using, and they're no longer in the right seat, and you need to either find out a new role for them or let them go. This can be a hard thing to admit to yourself. It can also be a really hard thing to communicate to someone else, which makes it harder to admit to yourself. So again, they need to get it, they need to want it, and they need to have the capacity to do it. And they need to meet the mark on all three of those categories. If you have someone that doesn't really get it, or they don't really want it, or they don't have the capacity to do it, those are game changers for your organization. And you need to either find that person a new role within the organization where they can meet those check marks, or the hard part might be it is time to let that person go, which is a hard decision to make, and why a tool like this can be really helpful. Now, if you've got someone that's in complete alignment with your core values and they are just a great person who really get the organization, try finding the right seat for them. But if there's somebody that isn't in alignment with your core values, or it's iffy, and they're out of alignment with the get it, want it, and the capacity to do it, it might be time to really start thinking about having that hard conversation and letting that person go. It actually really isn't a conversation. I'll probably go over that soon. You don't ever want to set someone up with the false hope in a firing conversation that they're going to get a second chance, because that's just mean and not the way to do it. But we'll go over that at a different time. So again, this tool is called the EOS document. It's the People Analyzer and the GWC from the EOS systems out of Traction, which is a book by Gino Wickman. Great tool. If you're listening to this on the podcast, I will put the link to this in the show notes. Hope you guys are doing well, and I would love to hear feedback on this, and also I'm happy to troubleshoot any challenges that you have coming your way, and I promise, as always, I'll keep you anonymous. Bye.